And Hagel had words for Mikkola as he headed over to the bench. Vasilevsky heads to his bench. The extra attacker is on. It will be a power play, and now on the near side, Tkachuk has words for Kucherov as well.
Here comes the nonsense. This is all on Tkachuk here.
Tkachuk and Hagel.
This has been before, and Hagel's got the jump on him, and he's feeding them pretty good. Here comes Tkachuk back.
Forsling and Moser. They're throwing punches as well, but the gloves stay on.
Boat A is Hagel and Tkachuk.
And now Forsling and Moser, and now it's officially a fight. And Forsling has Moser down, and they have to be separated.
There's going to be a whole lot of game misconducts coming out of this. Garrett Rank is the official. He's on his own. And he's trying to separate Moser and Forsling. Hagel's trying to wave the crowd up. But this all started way behind the play when Mikkola knocked over Kucherov. Then Tkachuk came from the backside and knocked over Kucherov again. And that's when Hagel jumped in and started giving it to Tkachuk.
Well, Dave Jackson, obviously, it probably seems to the officials like they know what this game might become the rest of the way. How do you stop it from becoming what I'm sure maybe you're afraid it will turn into, and that is a gong show?
Well, Bob, it's 4-0 right now in the third period. The outcome's probably not in jeopardy here. The referees realize what this could become. Sometimes you got to protect players from themselves. You know what I mean? You keep a guy in the game right now, he might come out and do something worse when his penalty expires. You're going to see misconducts. You'll probably see game misconducts. Every time there's a fight, any fight that occurs after the original fight is a game misconduct for a subsequent altercation following the first fight. So I think we're going to see at least one game misconduct to a player on each team. We might see multiple game misconducts. You'll definitely see 10-minute misconducts here, and they're going to keep that up the rest of the way. They'll go to the coaches and tell them, guys, we're not going to tolerate any of this the rest of the game. There's going to be severe penalties, so either play within the rules or you're going to be going to the dressing room early.
Well, remember back to the Four Nations, Tkachuk and Hagel on that Saturday night in Montreal. They go again here. So Mikkola has already knocked over Tkachuk, or knocked over Kucherov. Here comes Tkachuk, easing his way back behind. And there's only one way one reason he took the route he did, and that was to run into Kucherov. Here come the penalties with Garrett Rank.
Penalties on the play. Florida penalty, number 77 and number 19. Both guys have 2 minutes for interference. Number 23, number 9, and number 6 have a 10-minute misconduct. And Florida, number 42, has a 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct for the secondary altercation. And number 19 has 5 minutes for fighting and a game misconduct. Sorry, no game misconduct to number 19. Tampa penalties, number 90, 5 in a game for fighting. Number 38 has 5 minutes for fighting. And number 86, 37, and 59 have a 10-minute misconduct. Tampa Bay will have a 2-minute power plays.
All right, Dave Jackson, did you ever have to write the Magna Carta down the way Garrett just did and literally have to read it off to the crowd just to keep it straight?
Sure. So what I used to do is carry a notepad in my pocket, especially in the minor leagues. You'd pull out a little pencil, you'd write numbers down, try and get them right. But these guys at the NHL level in the box, they're your friends. They help you out. When they come over to the box, the referees, they start discussing penalties, the scorekeeper will hand them a sheet, and he's got all the pairings for them. He's not telling them what to call, but he's showing the guys, this guy was engaged with this guy was with this guy, and that really helps jog the memory so you go, because it's so easy to lose numbers. You saw Garrett Rank, he had to come in and help break up a fight because the linesmen were busy with other guys, and he was afraid a guy was going to get hurt. So he can't be looking at numbers, so the timekeepers and scorekeepers really help these guys out. I don't think this is over yet. I think they're discussing a little more. We might see an additional game misconduct.
TJ Luxmore is coming over to the Florida bench to try and explain this to Paul Maurice. Garrett Rank, the other official, is still with the scorekeeper over by the Tampa door, and they're discussing further penalties. Rank is going to come over and talk to John Cooper here. And so basically they're trying to, with all of that being broadcast in the arena, it actually got quite confusing at a certain period of time to figure out exactly who had what in the penalties. At one point they announced 2-5-10 for Tkachuk. Then they said 2-5 game. Then they said no game. So I'm not real sure at this point exactly what the final penalties are.
And talking to you between periods, Ray, you said the only way we get to this type of game at 4-0 right before the Olympic break is if someone in the game takes a run at an opposing team superstar, like a Reinhardt or a Kucherov. Well, Kucherov gets into it with Mikkola, and then you see that circuitous route taken by Tkachuk from the bench. He goes and seeks out Kucherov, and now the Lightning are compelled to jump in. So you see Mikkola and Kucherov, and they get into it. Mikkola with a shoulder. He heads off to the bench, and as he arrives on the bench, who changes? But Matthew Tkachuk for Mikkola, and then this all begins.
Sebrango's racing around trying to find somebody. Gord's got him. Radish is on the pack. Bennett's like, hey, wait a minute, I don't have anybody here. And so he's going to get tied up. I can't think J.J. Moser has fought very often. And he got spun around by Forsling pretty good. Forsling's just laying the right hands to him here. And in the background's the main event as Hagel and Tkachuk are throwing him pretty good.
Well, there are minors and there are some fighting majors woven in as well, but these are the players that have been given misconducts. And obviously it's Forsling and Moser for that fight that have both been giving fighting majors and game misconducts.
Because that was the second altercation.
Right. So on top of those guys being kicked out for the game, for Hagel, Bennett, Sebrango for the Panthers, Kucherov, Guentzel, Gord for Tampa Bay, all 6 of those players have been given 10 each as well, and with 15:54 to go in the game, it's going to make for at least the next 10 minutes very short benches for both teams.